flock to know love and peace. Let's say thanks to the police all around, especially in town. No one.
Welcome back inside the Now Morning Show. Hope you're having a great morning so far. We certainly are. And I'm joined this morning by somebody at this point we had to be friends because she's been here every single Monday. And we appreciate her so much for coming. Inspector Michelle Lewis representing the TTPS. Good morning to you, Inspector.
Good morning to you, Ruckus. How are you doing this morning?
So far, so good. How are you?
We are good. We are well.
Now, the Bacchanal brewing this weekend, the talk has been about extortion.
Yes.
I've seen it all over the papers. People saying that there was an undercover sting operation that happened and somebody was charged or found out about extortion. And it's not a new topic. We've heard people talk about it lots and lots. But this morning, we're going to explore it a little bit.
Yes, we are.
The police define it as demanding money by menace, if I'm not mistaken.
Which is according to the Act.
Right.
That's in the Act 1112. So yes, it is demanding money by menace, and it is, in fact, extortion, right? But the organization has seen an increase in that particular offense.
An increase in the offense or an increase of reports of the offense?
Well, reports, because we go with the reports that are made, right? So we get our data from CAPA, which is the Crime and Problem Analysis section of the organization. So when you look at the figures for this year only, for that offense, it has increased exponentially, particularly in Southern Division. So if I were to give you some figures as we begin, right? So when you look at all the divisions, so when you look at a 5-year period, over the last 5 years, for example, for 2018, over all the divisions, we had 25 reports. 2019, 20 reports. 2020, 17 reports. 2021, 6 reports. 2022, 16 reports. But in 2023, for the year so far up to 27th of September, we had 146 reports.
Wow.
And in Southern Division only, we've had 134 reports. So it has drastically increased in this year in particular.
Well, I think that's very interesting, because to me, all that says is that people are now brave enough to report it, because I could tell you off the top of my head that more than 16 in 1 year. I know at least 16 different people could claim extortion, but a lot of people don't report it, at least in my little research that I've done.
Right.
However, we're seeing a drastic increase in the reports, which I think is a good start, because it means that now we have a better idea as to realistically more people are being extorted. So what is the TTPS doing about this?
The figures gives you two perspectives. It shows that more persons are coming to make report, but it also shows that the offense has become more prevalent. So that there's a fraction within the society who are doing this type of offense. More persons are committing the offenses, and more persons are coming forward and making the reports.
Right.
So when you look at the offense, when you look at the act, it doesn't tell you what is menace, but of course menace is, giving threat,
right,
or intimidating someone to get something, right? So when you look at the offense and you look at extortion, it's basically the same thing.
Right.
You wouldn't see extortion in the act, you would see demanding money by menace.
Right.
And whether you demand the money and receive the money, the offense is the same.
So even if you don't get the money...
So the act says demanding money by menace.
Right.
You receive the money, you're going to be fined, and you are liable 15 years imprisonment.
And if you don't receive the money, but you're still demanding money by menace?
So the act covers threat as well.
Okay.
The act covers threat as well. So for example, if it is that the person made a report to the police that this person has done this or said this to them in a menacing way or threatening way, and the police takes the report, goes through everything, the completion of the act hasn't, the full has not, but the intent to commit.
And the threat.
The menace has been done, it's an offense. So,
and is there a different time period, let's say, the lock-upable time, actually the time you're going to spend in prison for the full act, as in demanding money and receiving the money, you said it's 15 years. Is it the same for threatening?
It's the same. Once it is by menace,
right,
demanding money by menace, extortion, 15 years imprisonment.
Can I ask, I don't know if you have the data with you, but you mentioned the last 5 years and you gave the numbers for the last 5 years in terms of the reports. Do we have any number in terms of arrests, in terms of people who've been charged for extortion over the last 5 years as well?
I don't have that figure, to be honest with you. What I have is the figure in relation to the increases that we've had, right? But I can provide that for you next week because I will be here with you.
Because I think that's important as well for people to realize, how much the TTPS is working and the kind of work that you're doing, because we get these figures, but we also need to see, if I report this, is it being dealt with? Can I trust that the police will deal with this extortion for me?
Correct, and that's an important point because where we have in the organization generally, when we have serious crimes, what is our runaway horse in the organization is really the homicides. You would see increases in detection rate and solvability rate in other serious offenses.
Right.
So this would be considered a serious offense.
Right.
Right. So that data, I can get it for you next week so that you'll be able to see a comparative whether, all has been solved over the years and that kind of thing. But this figure is really alarming.
While we getting data, we could get data on, if some of those people were actually members of the TTPS as well?
Right. So all our reports, all the reports that we have, regardless of what section or where you worked or were employed or that kind of thing, you will be charged for the offense.
All right.
It may not be able to extract for me whether it was a police officer, employee, a relative,
Understood.
who did it, but it would be able to say that
somebody was charged,
correct,
as the case may be.
But as you know, Ruckus, within the organization, we do not hesitate to charge persons who are guilty of criminal offenses, regardless.
Yeah.
That is something that the organization has maintained, and we are very transparent about that.
And I hope we can continue to see that transparency as we go forward. But what do you tell the citizens of the nation, people who might be under this threat or might be exposed to this threat or might be liable to face a threat like this?
So most times you see business persons being
targeted,
right? So in the first instance, we want to tell business owners to do due diligence when you are hiring employees. That is to say, ensure that you do a good background check. Now, even though you can request from the person a certificate of character, in most cases, what the person will do is that they will go to the police, get the receipt, and then sometime after, about 2 weeks or so, which is the average time frame, except to say something happens.
And
then we make it public to the country so that employers and everybody who seeks a CFC would know what is the situation, right? But in normal circumstances, it will be about 2 weeks. So even though the person will hand you the receipt, you have to ensure that you get the certificate of character to see whether this person has any criminal
I want to ask why does it take 2 and 3 whole weeks sometimes to get a certificate of character?
But that's a different conversation.
Yeah. That's a different conversation.
About 2 weeks on average. But further to that, even though someone may not have a criminal record, it doesn't mean that the person is not known in the community.
Right.
So it's important to have a relationship with the police in the community as well, who'll be able to say, yes, this person, we know this person to be, a questionable character.
But even if it's not somebody that's employed with the company and it's somebody, people come in and extort who don't work there, people who come and say they come in to give you protection for the neighborhood or things of that nature, how do you protect from those people?
I want to commend the Shagwanas Chamber of Industry and Commerce. Last week, I think they had a meeting where they invited the stakeholders and they were able to come together, and there is an importance in networking and there's a strength in doing that. So that when, as a business community, you have a robust relationship with each other, together with the police service, you are able to support each other so that sharing of information and that protection of each other helps to keep criminal elements out. And so you don't want to encourage it because business owners do encourage it. In the first instance, it may appear as if it looks and sounds good and it's not that big a deal, but from the very onset, do not encourage it as a right-thinking citizen. And I think there is where the problem lies. And then it gets out of hand.
From there.
Yes.
Yeah. Well, Inspector, I agree with you 100%. And I do think that, if according to the word, together we aspire, together we achieve, and together we can definitely protect ourselves from threats like this. Inspector, thank you so much for joining us this morning.
My time has gone.
Girl, the time must fly when we're having fun here. But the good news is you'll be back next week with some data for us. So I look forward to it.
We're looking forward to it. We continue to encourage the members of the community to partner with us. And if you see something, say something. We are here to assist, and we encourage that.
Inspector Michelle Lewis joining us this morning, talking about extortion a bit. We're going to take a quick break and come back with your birthday shouts. But she'll be back next week with some more data and some more information for us concerning everything we need to know about the TTPS. We take a quick break and come back with more. Stick around.
Love and peace. Let's say thanks to the police all around, especially in tongue. No one couldn't walk alone.